Hi, hello. I've promised in the last video to show you these old fishing lines. These fishing lines, they have more than 100 years. This was the real original fishing lines from the old days. And this is cotton, but it is covered with something. Actually, it is a plant. Take a good look at this. This was so powerful that I have heard stories of fishermen. This was made in Nazaré. Now, Nazaré nowadays is very famous for those waves, the surf waves, the big waves in Nazaré, right? But the fishermen, they knew those waves from long ago, that they were killer waves. And actually there is, I think there is a movie, a very old movie, almost black and white movie about those waves. When the fishermen in Nazaré, the boats sink in the ocean and have to swim to the shore, they knew that if they go to the northern parts of the rocky promontory, they will all dead, because those waves, they are merciless waves. And when they were in the northern parts, that was very hard, because they have to bring it swimming around and trying to come to the south seaside that was protected with the rocks, and only they have a chance in there. So these lines, they were developed by Nazaré fishermen 100 years ago, and they are here very beautifully. I actually was able to buy. I buy these to fishermen in Nazaré. So these are for real, and they are so, take a good look at this, they are so stiff. So the stories, I have heard stories that in Nazaré there is a canyon, underwater canyon, that comes from the center of the Atlantic almost to the Nazaré promontorium, rocky promontorium. So it is a very dangerous sea, and that canyon, they bring albacore sharks, and they told me that they fish albacore sharks with these lines. This is very impressive. And it has here a knotting that I don't see it anymore. I don't see the details. And here it is also something, the finishing of the line, perhaps. Now these lines, of course, one of these days I will have to give them to a museum. That's the way it is. And I hope that they will keep them with full attention. You see here how small there is. There is here a work. There is a work here. You see this loop? It is worked. I don't understand how, because it is covered, and we have here a square knot, a little square knot, and these are amazing rope. Now actually I know how this is made. Unfortunately I don't have the name. I forgot to give you the name. You see, this one is not so well covered as these ones. You see, this one is much more black, and this one is not so black. We can see the rope here, the twisting. So this one was not so. Aha, another. That thing it's here again. Take a good look. This work with a magnifying glass, I could still understand what it is. Maybe I will. For the recovering of a knot. The recovering of an old knot. Of course this is covered with this, but because this is not very much covered, maybe I will understand it. Now I know how this was made, because they told me. Aha. They all have this loop, so I can understand it. Take a good look. A square knot. A real square knot. This square knot is here probably for 100 years. Can you believe it? How beautiful. Take a good look. How beautiful it is. A real square knot. And in here, take a good look. There is something in the... There is something here. Aha, in the two sides. How amazing. Of course, I don't know. Aha, this is with another twist. Ah, this is like this. So probably these ones are also. I don't know. Well, there is a plant in the Mediterranean that it is called alfarroba. Now, alfarroba is a Portuguese name for a plant. I don't know the scientific name of it. And that plant, it has some dark things, and then when they are green, they just pass the line through that thing that is green, and they cover it with it all over. So that's what is in here. And then they had to put it in human urine. That's right. That's very interesting. It was perhaps the first chemical reaction. So they put these lines in human urine for 1 day or something like that. I don't recall it exactly, but they told me the time, something like 1 day. And then they took it out, and they were black, because actually the color of that thing is green, olive green. And when they put it in urine, it stays like this, and it makes some reaction that this is completely, the water does not enter here. The salt water does not spoil these lines. So these lines, actually, they were a secret. They were a very concealed secret. They were known as the black lines of Nazaré. Now, I'm sure that the surfers that go to Nazaré now, they will like very much to hear this story, and probably they would like to have these lines in some form connected to their boards, to their surfing boards. So if someone that's going to Nazaré surfing is watching this, they can revive this art. They can revive it, because we can still make it. And that was very, very much joy, right, for everybody. So these were the famous black lines of Nazareth, the great secret and the great power for these fishermen, these old fishermen. Well, actually, I look at this and the feeling that I have is to cry, to cry, because these lines, if the surfers will get this and they like this, perhaps they can save these lines. But if they don't save, no one will save it anymore. They will be lost in some museums, and the museums do not show these things to people because they have, I don't know, the false impression that people don't want to see these. Probably, I'm speculating, right? Actually, there is a small museum in Nazareth, nautical museum. I don't visit that museum for a long years now. Well, if this COVID thing passes over, maybe I'll get my truck, my mother, and these lines. I'm going to that museum. I have several, so I can give them half. I can give them for free, although I have paid money for them. I don't recall how much money, but it was not much. But I pay money for this. But I can give them for the museum for free. But they have to make a protocol with me. a written protocol or contract or something. They have to put it to the public. If that museum public puts this to the public to see, because now the surfers, they probably go to that museum to see. It's a nautical museum of the fishermen. It's a very interesting museum. I will contact it. Of course, maybe they don't have it. Or maybe they do. I don't know. If they don't have it, when they see these lines and they contact with older fishermen, because if they are modern people, they don't even know the existence of this. But an old fisherman will say, oh, the old lines of the good old days. It's a promise. Then I will make a video. If I have my new camera, I'll even make a vlogging in Nazaré with these lines and in the museum. It's a promise. If these confinement things get out, that's right. You hear the sound? Now, take a good look at this line. This line, no one does this line anymore. This line is also with something, but it is different from that one. I don't know what is the product of this, but it smells like tarot. So it smells like pine, you know. Pine, it has a name. This is pine resins. This is very old also, and I don't even recall where I get this. I don't recall it anymore. It's a pity, but I don't recall it. This line was called 3-3. It was the smallest fishing line that was made. 3-3. No one do this line anymore. And tarot, this tarot line is a precious line. This is also a museum piece. Old, real fisherman tarot line. How beautiful. Now in here I have another lines. These lines are from Sesimbra, far in the south. You have a smell? I have also a smell, but I don't recognize this smell. These lines are also very old, and actually the fishermen, these ones were a gift from the fishermen to me, because I've made an exhibition in Sesimbra town, an handicraft exhibition, and the fishermen, they contacted me because I had sailors knotting keychains, macrame also, and so they contacted me and we start talking, and they told me that this was made with a special thing. You know those red berries that people use in Christmas, that they are poisons? Well, they passed these lines in that red berries and they stay like this. So this was red, but then with time it became brown. And this was given to me, and of course I will have to put them on the museum one of these days. But actually I'm so happy that I have them here, because if I didn't have them anymore, hey, look at here. This seems a square knot made with a double. Aha! I'm very sorry that I don't see it. I don't see it anymore. I don't understand what knot is this, but I will use a magnifying glass and I will understand it. Maybe there is here an unknown knot. I found several unknown knots in these kind of things. Sometimes these knots, they can be here for more than 1,000 years, waiting that someone will find them. Look, there is another one here. It seems a square knot with this one that will undo it, but I will have to see it very carefully with a magnifying glass. And here there is another thing. A loop also. You saw that loop that was there in the other in the other fishing lines. So another loop. So they use this loop. I don't know exactly why, but they all use a loop, and it's the same, right? Very interesting. Oh yes, very interesting. Aha, here it is, the loop. Aha, here it is. Take a good look. So fishermen from, I don't know, perhaps 200 kilometers distance, and they have the same solutions, almost the same solutions for the same problems, right? I wonder if they hold it like this. Maybe they hold it like this in some place. Aha, of course. They hold it like this. Has some logic, right? There is some logic, because it is here, and it is, this one is also here. Aha, and it is stable. Maybe they put this, in something. Alright. Now we get to some place. You see how beautiful this is. This is so beautiful, isn't it? And this is so well put. It's hard to believe that someone worked this with a great lot of love, right? 100 years or more ago, and they are still here. His hands that put here, and the mind that developed this. Well, his work is still here. This is something very impressive. This is pure magic, pure beauty, right? And I have it. It's so important. I have it. Well, actually it is a concern. I have to find a place to put these where they give proper attention to this. I just hope you YouTubers love this. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.